Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about education in the British rule. British East India Company was not concerned with the development of education system because its prime motive was trade and profit making. To rule India, they planned to educate the small sections of upper and middle classes. The steps and measures were taken by the British for the development of education in India. But now we are going to learn about education in the British rule.
Education in British India. History of education in British rule can be divided into 4 periods. First one, from the early days of British rule up to 1813. Second one, period from 1813 to 1853. Third one, period from 1854 to 1920. And fourth one is period from 1921 to 1947. Education is a powerful tool to unlock the golden door of freedom which can change the world. With the advent of British, their policies and measures breached the legacies and the traditional schools of learning, and this resulted in the need for creating a class of subordinates. To achieve these goals, they instituted a number of acts, created an Indian canvas of English color through educational system. Education in the 18th century. The current system of education with its Western style and content was introduced and founded by British in the 20th century following recommendations by Macaulay. It was earlier originated by William Adam in 1830. He came to Calcutta to know about the structure of Indian education started by Christian missionaries. British records show that indigenous education was widespread in the 18th century with a school for every temple, mosque or village in the most regions of the country. The subjects taught included reading and writing, arithmetic, technology, law, astronomy, metaphysics, ethics, medical science and religion. The schools were attended by students representative of all classes of societies, but scholars have questioned the validity of such an argument. They argue the proponent of indigenous education failed to recognize the importance of widespread use of printed books in the West since the 16th century, which led to a remarkable advancement of knowledge. From the early days of British rule up to 1813, during its early days, the East India Company followed a policy of deference and non-interference towards education as this sector did not form a part of its program. The company's charter was renewed in 1813, which compelled the company to assume responsibility for the education of Indians, though on very limited scales. Beside missionaries, non-missionaries like Rajaram Mohan Roy of Bengal, Pachayappa of Madras and W. Fraser of Delhi contributed the causes of education. In 1813, the East India Company was compelled to assert the responsibility for the education of the Indians. Charter of Act of 1813 made a provisions for an annual grant of sum of 1 lakh rupee for the promotion of education in India. Education for the period from 1813 to 1853. The second period was also marked by great educational controversies concerning the issues of educational policies, medium of instruction, and method of spreading education. First, there were the Oriental learning and the use of Sanskrit and Persian as the medium of instruction. They were opposed by the Anglicists who advocated dissemination of Western knowledge through English. The third section believed in the use of Indian languages as the medium of instructions. These controversies were partially set at rest by Macaulay's Minutes of 1835. Higher education was de-orientalized, encouraging English education for the upper classes. Each province was allowed to follow its education policy. But even then, the controversies continued till 1854. Education for a period of from 1854 to 1920. The third phase of British influenced education may be called the period of All India educational policy. It commenced with Sir Charles Woodrow Despatch in 1854. Hunter Education Commission, started in 1882, gave emphasis to primary education. The Woods Despatch of 1854 is called the Magna Carta of English education in India because it was the first declaration of British education policy for educating the masses at all levels. But it resulted in the complete control on state education, divorcing it from Indian ideals and culture. First one, it is considered as the Magna Carta of English education in India and contained comprehensive plan for spreading education in India. Second one, it states the responsibility of states for the spread of education to the masses. Third one, it recommended the hierarchical education level at bottom vernacular primary school, at district Anglo vernacular high schools and affiliated college and affiliated universities of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras Presidency. Fourth one, recommended English as a medium of instruction for higher studies and vernacular at school level. Next, education from period from 1920 to 1947. The fourth phase may be called the period of provincial autonomy. The Act of 1935 urged the new era of educational advancement through the country. The new programs were hit hard by the worldwide economic depression in 1929. The introduction of complete provincial autonomy by the Government of India Act of 1935 further strengthened the position of provincial ministers of education. After the Second World War, a very important plan for development known as Sargent Report was prepared. Varda Scheme of Education in 1937. In 1937, Gandhiji evolved a scheme popularly known as Varda Scheme of Basic National Education. The principle of non-violence was the basis of Gandhiji's scheme of basic education. Though this scheme, he wanted to develop those qualities in future citizens of India which he considered necessary for building a non-violent society. His system of education wanted to root out exploitation and centralization in society to create a non-violent social orders. Thank you, students.